Oi pessoal, tudo bem? Aqui é Luciana da Street Smart Brazil. Today I'm gonna show you two great, very useful expressions in Brazilian Portuguese. These expressions use the verb dar, and this is an extremely useful verb because we use it in so many colloquial expressions in Brazilian Portuguese, so it's worth learning the conjugation of dar. Today you will learn how to use the expression dar-se bem with two different meanings: to get along well with someone and to do well in something. I think you will likely find yourself using these expressions quite often once you become familiar with them. Now, notice that I'm using the verb dar as a reflexive verb, dar-se. I have a lesson on reflexive verbs. It's not difficult, so I will put a link to the lesson in the video description. About the word bem, I also have a lesson on the pronunciation of the letter M when it's the last letter of the word. And in Portuguese, in Brazilian Portuguese, we don't close our lips. So if you are an English speaker, it probably doesn't even sound like an M to you. Bem, bem. We're gonna start looking at examples on how to use dar-se bem, meaning to get along well. A gente se dá bem. A gente se dá bem. We get along well. All the examples and translations and links to additional resources are on the blog post, and the link to the blog post is in the video description. I encourage you to follow along with the blog post. Paco e Luca se dão super bem. Paco e Luca se dão super bem. Ângelo e João não se dão muito bem. Ângelo e João não se dão muito bem. So you might be wondering why I'm placing the pronoun in front of the verb. These are the three examples I gave you so far, and in all of them I have the pronoun se in front of the verb. Well, this is the preferred form, the most commonly used form in Brazilian Portuguese. In the lesson that I mentioned about reflexive verbs, I explain you the other options and how to use or where to place the pronoun. So check out the lesson. In the examples I gave you so far, you did not need to use a preposition, but depending on how you build your sentence, you may need a preposition com. I'll show you examples. Paco se dá super bem com Luca. Paco se dá super bem com Luca. Eu me dou bem com todo mundo no trabalho. Eu me dou bem com todo mundo no trabalho. Now let's see dar-se bem, meaning to do well. João se deu bem. Ele vendeu o negócio dele por uma fortuna. João se deu bem. Ele vendeu o negócio dele por uma fortuna. In the previous example, I didn't use a preposition, but depending on how you build your sentence, you will need a preposition. And with the expression dar-se bem, in this meaning of to do well, the preposition you need is em, or one of its contractions. Here's an example. Me dei bem na entrevista. Me dei bem na entrevista. Você acha que se deu bem nas provas? Você acha que se deu bem nas provas? There is a common mistake that English speakers tend to make, and I want you to avoid it. The mistake is to do a literal translation of the expression to do well, which would be fazer bem. In Portuguese, it will not work if you're trying to say that you did well in the test or you did well in a certain situation. You cannot use the verb fazer. So speak like a Brazilian and use the verb dar, dar-se bem. And now you have the opposite of dar-se bem. It is dar-se mal. Dar-se mal. I also have a video on the pronunciation of the L when it's the last letter of the word. And here we say mal. So here's an example. Milena se deu mal na entrevista. Milena se deu mal na entrevista. Acho que me dei mal na prova. Acho que me dei mal na prova. The verb dar is an irregular verb. It actually has a quite strange conjugation and it's challenging for learners of Portuguese. Well, it's also challenging for Brazilians because I see this verb written incorrectly so often. It's sad. There really is no reason to not learn the verb, it's just a matter of practice. I have flashcards for Android devices in the Google Play Store, and these flashcards have the present tense and the past tense of the verbs dar and fazer, which are two irregular verbs that we use a lot in Portuguese. So check out my app in the Google Play Store and I'll put a link in the video description. Don't let verb conjugations or colloquial expressions intimidate you. All we need to speak a foreign language with ease is practice. Street Smart Brazil offers one-on-one Brazilian Portuguese lessons via Skype. You can learn from anywhere with one of our amazing instructors. Book a trial lesson with us to get started. Thank you so much for watching the lesson. Muito obrigada. Tchau, tchau.